Good evening, Cecil TV. I'm Grant Handley, your political correspondent. Joining me today is candidate for Cecil County Executive, Adam Streight. Adam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Always a pleasure having you, Adam. As you know, during the primary election, you were a very, very hot topic, hot issue, hot election. But for still, political engagement in the primary compared to the general is pretty different. So for people that are tuning in now to the general election, who is Adam Streight and why are you running for county executive?
So for people just getting to know me, I've worked for the sheriff's office for 25 years. I am a former union president with the Fraternal Order of Police. I got my first run in politics in 2022 when I ran for delegate unsuccessfully because I just felt like there was a lot of apathy and lack of transparency in government.
Sure.
That people in charge weren't listening to us. So instead of complaining, I decided to do something about it, and I ran. I did not win that election. However, last year, I decided that I was going to make a go for county executive, and I ran in the primary, and I won. And so now we're on to the general.
Adam, in a perfect world, let's say you win the November election, you are the county executive. Do you have any specific goals or actions in mind for your first 100 days with your administration?
Yeah, so just to clarify, in the real world, I will win. In my first 100 days, what I want to do is I want to bring efficiency to county government, more customer service. Right now, we are down about 10 to 15% in sheriff's deputies. We are down even more in correctional officers. So we need to look at that and figure out what we need to do to not only recruit, but also retain qualified individuals to keep our county safe. Because safe communities are really the foundation on a free society. One of the biggest complaints that I received during this election is people that try to do business with county government seem to get stonewalled a lot, whether it's permits, inspections, things like that. These are things that we're going to look at. And if we do our job right, and I believe that we will, you're going to notice within that first 100 days a marked improvement in how we serve the public in your business with Cecil County, your experience with that, absolutely.
Adam, we kind of hear a lot of rhetoric about red tape and making government more efficient, and here you are saying you're going to improve efficiency, improve customer service. Can you give me an example of a tangible action that you're going to try to do or look at to improve customer service, to improve the efficiency?
Yeah, sure. So right now, we have people come up to me and tell me all the time, it takes me 8 months, 9 months to get a permit for my deck.
Sure.
Okay. Simple quality of life that you want to enjoy your backyard. We want to get that down to less than a month. Actually, for a deck, it shouldn't be more than 5 days.
Right.
How we'll get to that from as long as it takes right now to our goal of a reasonable time period. I don't know yet, but I do know that within our first 100 days, you will see a marked improvement. It comes down to setting the tone. My directors are going to understand what my vision is. I'm going to articulate that to them. I will move heaven and earth to give them the resources that they need to execute my vision, and I expect them to, in fact, execute it.
Nicely said, Adam. The next hot issue here in the county is development. Okay, development is likely to remain an issue in Cecil County for the foreseeable future, and an improving economy and lowering interest rates will only increase the pressure of more development. We hear it all the time. Every candidate comes on this show and says, smart growth, rural preservation while developing smartly. If you are the county executive, what does that vision look like to you? How can you encourage good growth and dissuade from undesirable growth?
So we have a comprehensive plan and a growth corridor, and I think we need to focus on that. We have a rural heritage here. I certainly support that. It's what makes Cecil County, and it certainly contributes to our quality of life. And we don't want to chip away at that. But for right now, we have a comprehensive plan that the county agreed to. We have a growth corridor. So let's focus on bringing any development, smart development, sustainable development in that growth corridor, as well as high-paying jobs and businesses and such. We need to keep an eye on how this is going to eat away at our resources. For example, more people brings more traffic. So you're looking at the road upkeep.
Right.
You're looking at schools. And whether they're going to be overcrowded or not. You're looking at more calls for service for our public safety. So these things all need to be under consideration and monitored. But before we start looking at outside in our farmlands, let's focus on what we agreed to.
Your opponent, Bill Kilby, when he was on the show here, he had talked about his approach to managing smart growth was to have a steering committee or an outside focus group, a committee that comprised of people outside Cecil County government. What is your thoughts on that approach? Is that the right answer to addressing it?
Well, I think any time that you can have other perspectives, people that are experts in their field that maybe see things a little different than you do, and it can help you see things different than what you do, I think is a good thing. As I recall during his interview, he made a comment that the county executive should not be making these decisions, that it should basically be advocated to the steering committee. I think that's a cop-out. As county executive, you're elected to make the hard decisions. I think a steering committee is a good thing to bring up different outlooks, but ultimately it's up to the county executive to make that job or to make that decision. I'm sorry. We don't punt it to an unelected committee, the people that have never been on the ballot. You're responsible for the decisions. As county executive, I'm responsible for the decisions that are made. And every 4 years, I need to stand before the voters and defend that. I can't say, well, somebody else did it. That doesn't seem like what we're supposed to do. So.
Okay, thank you. Regardless if they have been a Republican candidate or a Democratic candidate, every county council candidate that I've had in this chair, in this show, has stated that they think the council should have increased power over the budget. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's something certainly to talk about. Under our charter, we have what's known as a strong executive weak council form of government.
Right.
What we found is over the years, really almost immediately, the county council has kind of abdicated their role in being a check on the executive. Now, certainly, I look at the county council as a separate but co-equal branch of government.
Right.
I think probably one of the reasons that we got in the mess that we're in is because the executive, and it's not just this current one, did not respect the duties laid out in the charter by the county council.
Right.
So certainly what I want to do is when I present my agenda to the council is to get buy-in, and that's going to take discussion, that's going to take compromise, that's going to take, I give something, you give something, let's come together and do something good that everybody can live with. So yes, I don't know the answer to your question per se. I don't really have a stance on it, but I do know that I will say that a Streight administration is going to respect the co-equal legislative branch of government that is county council, and we'll work with them on every single piece of legislation.
Adam, is it fair to say then that your approach would be a proactive approach with the council where they have buy-in with
Yes.
the budget, so therefore there wouldn't need to be an amendment to give them formal powers?
No, I don't think that there is. I don't think that there needs to be. Certainly if they do, these are things that we could talk about. But they will be my governing partners.
Sure.
This is not a dictatorship. This is not a kingdom. This is a constitutional charter republic. And we need to respect each other's roles. I think far too often the person on top makes the decision, whether you like it or not, and then every time, whenever there's a change and the next person comes in, then we change that. If we have buy-in from everybody, if we can get together and make an imperfect plan, but a plan that everybody can live with that actually does good, then that promotes stability and continuity, and the citizens don't have to worry about every time that there's a change in government that policy is going to change in a drastic way.
Let's talk about transparency. A handful of times throughout this election cycle, we've seen rhetoric that the current administration has spent COVID-19 relief funding or ARPA funding in a manner that hasn't been very transparent. You, as well as some other candidates, have suggested that some sort of auditing or any sort of transparent action would be required. Could you just kind of expand on what you guys, or what do you mean by that?
Well, when I talk about transparent government, I talk about data-driven government. A straight administration is going to be data-driven decision-making, and that's data that is available not only to the executive, to my administration, but also to the council, and we want to make that data available to the public. Right now, Cecil County uses a software called OpenGov, but we don't use it correctly, in my opinion. If you look at other jurisdictions throughout the country, whether it's Atlanta, Georgia,
Right.
or Tempe, Arizona, you could get on that website through OpenGov and find out anything you want about Tempe, Arizona, anything. If you go on Cecil County's website right now, you can't really find out a lot about us. So what I want to do is invest in that to make sure that the data is there. The data is there for everyone, so that when we make these decisions, we can show that this is the reason we made this decision. And you can judge us on the numbers, because the numbers are not going to lie. But right now, nobody has the numbers. You'll have to take our word for it.
Right. During the primary, you and your opponent, Mr. Kilby, had, in my opinion, a pretty positive kinship as you guys both were addressing the CCPS funding issue. Now that we are in the general election, leaving national politics aside, what distinguishes you from Mr. Kilby ahead of November?
So my opponent, following his national party, his approach, or his solution to everything, is spend money, spend money, spend money. He's made comments, including when he was here on this show, that what departments need, they should get. So departments get to determine they need a certain amount of money. In his philosophy, it's a county executive's job to let them have that and let them run with it and do their job with it. I don't see the county executive's job as giving departments a blank check. We have a finite amount of money, okay? And governing is about priorities. It's about choosing. What you give the one, you have to take from the other. And we're not going to raise taxes to raise revenue. Now, he gives specific numbers, a certain amount that he says we're going to give the school board. He doesn't know that we can afford that, nor that it's sustainable. Neither him or I have seen budget projections, deficit projections, revenue projections for the next 3 years. So how does he know whether these numbers or what other departments are asking for is sustainable? Because again, especially to the Board of Education, what we give to them, we have to give to them forever. Now, I will say that that under the current administration, they really put the Board of Education in a hole, and it's going to take us a while to dig out of it. But I am committed to that. I'm committed to getting us back to where we need to be. But what I'm not going to do is be dishonest with people and tell them this is the number when we really don't know what the number is. That's not leadership, it's pandering.
Adam, as we wrap up today, what are your final comments to voters as we approach Election Day?
So there are 5 pillars to a free society. There's safe communities, good schools, low taxes, a robust economy supported and built around small businesses and honest government. These are the things that are going to make Cecil County thrive. Now listen, I campaign as a conservative. I am a conservative. I will govern as a conservative. But I'm also going to be the county executive for everybody, not just my base. And this means listening to my constituents, to you, and to try to see things through the eyes of the other person. I'm not going to compromise my principles, but we will get things done, because at the end of the day, that's what you elect us to do.
Okay, Adam, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you, Grant.
Best of luck ahead of November. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and be sure to go out there and vote.